What's up, everybody? My name is Vincent. Welcome to Cryptolution, where we talk about everything under the moon in the crypto universe. Today's Wednesday, November 26th. Now, you may have noticed that Bitcoin is up 5% over the past 24 hours. In fact, it has climbed the ranking on CoinMarketCap at 199. Now currently the top 17th meme coin by market cap. Now, why is Dog pumping? Well, I'm going to share with you that also Bitcoin's pumping, but most importantly, what we're seeing in dog dominance. This is something that we've covered on our channel before, but when dog dominance against Bitcoin's pair starts to increase, we are about to experience the third parabola event for Dog Bitcoin, and we've already seen two previously. But I want to talk about the macro news because there is some bullish data that has been released that looks like we're going to have definitely a Fed rate cut in December 10th. And most likely, we're going to see big hedge funds that used to hate Bitcoin now adopting Bitcoin. So let's get right into it. Let's not waste any time. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to join us on X. Please be careful with any of the scammers down in the comments below. I'll never reach out via WhatsApp, Telegram, direct messaging, or email. So please be careful and invest safely. Guys and girls, let's get right into it. So as you can see right now, Dog is around 140 million market cap, and it is pumping as we speak. But that's mainly due to Bitcoin. Look at Bitcoin's price. It's at $90,000 US. Yesterday, it was hovering around 86 to around $88,000, but now up 3.14%. Now, I will tell you that when Bitcoin pumps, you may notice that Dog is only pumping a little bit. So as Bitcoin's pumping 3%, Dog is pumping 5%. But I think right now Dog's actually going to pump harder because usually Dog has a lagging effect. So that's what I'm paying attention to. So let's pay attention first to why Bitcoin is pumping. It's mainly due to a few things, such as like all of a sudden JP Morgan, by the way, who shorted MicroStrategy stock, is now filing to launch a Bitcoin-backed bond. So basically, instead of JP Morgan acquiring as much Bitcoin, now they're using something like a synthetic version where people, their clients, can buy into a Bitcoin-backed bond, which can be an infinite supply, by the way. It's not like a set supply where you buy Bitcoin actually, but this will allow them to offer their customers a little bit of exposure to Bitcoin without being an oxymoron, since they've been, at least this guy, JP Morgan, is talking a lot of crap about Bitcoin itself, saying it's for frauds, it's for criminals, yada, yada, yada. So that's just one thing. But there's also this. So you got US inflation is very low at this very moment, and typically that signals a rate cut. So when we're going to experience a rate cut could happen on December 10th. Some people are speculating that's going to be 25 basis points, but right now people are speculating that maybe it could be something surprising as 50 basis points. But this is really why I think maybe we see a huge increase in Bitcoin's price, because we just got data from the United States jobless claims. It was expected to be around 226,000, when really it was actually below that at around 216,000 US dollars, when previously it was $220,000. So that's very interesting that these people have actually just received that data, and that's why you're seeing still an 82% chance that there's going to be a 25 basis point rate cut. So that hasn't increased to 50, but still it's at 25. So let's look at the meme coin market cap. So let's look at all the meme coins. Right now you can see some that are up 2%, which is Pudgy Penguins. SPI 6900 around 14%, Floki 2%, Dog with Hat 7%, Dog Bitcoin up close to around 5%. Remember, Dog Bitcoin most likely will pump in a lagging effect. I think that personally this is going to pump a little bit harder. So I want to share with you some bullish data around Dog. So if you don't know Shah, he's actually the listing agent over at Coinbase. Now, if you've noticed, the Dog Army has been one of the strongest and most loyal audiences to his account, pushing for a spot listing for Dog. So keep in mind, whenever you think that your engagements or your posts, your replies aren't making an effect, they are absolutely. And that's why I'm trying to share with you this data that was sourced from X Analytics itself. It doesn't just stop there. I continue to do more research around Dog, Doge, SPX, Pepe, and Pengu. And surprisingly, the most active meme coin communities on X right now over the past year has been Dog by far. Even through the month of June all the way up through July, remember there was the F1 competition for Kraken. And even with that massive amount of artificial engagement and actually trading volume that was going on with Pengu, the artificial engagement could not surpass the real organic, 100% organic engagement from Dog Bitcoin. And it continues up until this month that Dog is the most active community. And this is all based on the average daily engagement. So this is the total of likes, reposts, and replies, not just one or the other. It's all of them together. Now, the reason I share this with you is because this usually gives you an early signal before major communities and exchanges start listing these tokens and supporting these tokens. This is exactly what happened to Dogecoin and Pepe and Shiba Inu. Dog will be that next wave. You don't always have to pay for listings. Sometimes it absolutely takes a community to do that, and this is evidence of that. And dog dominance within the Bitcoin ecosystem, shout out to JDog for sharing this. If you do not know, Dog right now captures the most market share within the Bitcoin fungible token ecosystem. Now, the reason I point this out and what I brought up to you before is that usually if you're wanting to see the first mover in an ecosystem that's going to most likely garner the most market cap trading volume and the most engagement is going to be the one that has the most market share of the fungible token ecosystem, which is going to be Bitcoin. So obviously, if there's always going to be a front runner in the Bitcoin ecosystem, it's going to be Dog. And Dog only has one tier 1 centralized exchange listing, while Ordi is actually losing trading volume because there is no organic community. The only thing that's propping Ordi up is market makers. Just keep that in mind. Now, this was shared yesterday by Raphael, who updates on the top 100 whale wallets. He saw that there was roughly a total buy of 203, total sell of 94, so net accumulation of around 108 million tokens. Now, what you need to keep in mind is wallet number 25. Now, wallet number 25 is actually a very interesting wallet, which is right around here, because he notes that this wallet came out of nowhere and keeps accumulating aggressively. So I did some research into that wallet. Now, is it a tier 1 centralized exchange? I don't actually think so. In fact, if you look over the history of when it started accumulating Dog was over a year ago, and it actually accumulated roughly around 10 million Dog tokens. So ever since then, over the past 8 days, we've actually seen this wallet accumulate 90 million, 39 million, 16 million, 40 million tokens. And the reason for that is because Dog is at a discount. So I actually believe that this is a whale that owns roughly around 267,000 US dollars of Dog. So these are the top 100 whale wallets accumulating. Now let's go into more data and analytics to prove to you that Dog is experiencing a reversal. So Killer Tickers, by the way, who talks more in depth about Dog versus BTC dominance. He says, weekly Dog Bitcoin chart shows clear trendline break and SAR confirmed on the weekly with the RSI cross imminent. So what have you noticed just simply with this? That when there are dots below the Dog dominance price, you'll notice that it only happens every now and then before there's a reversal. So you saw it over here, and over here. It's only happened 3 times in the past, and now we're seeing it for the 4th time. Just think about that. With the RSI going back up, it looks like Dog is getting ready to head upwards. Here's another diagram of the Dog to Bitcoin dominance. What have we noticed up close is that Dog dominance has surpassed the 20-day and 50-day moving average. Look at the specific MACD. Now let's go ahead and zoom in just a little closer. It looks like we're heading into the buyer's market, meaning it's not just because Dog, it's because Bitcoin's going up. And if Bitcoin goes up, that means it gives Dog leverage to go into the buyer's market. Okay, so this is right now happening at this very moment. Dog dominance is surpassing the 20-day, 50-day moving average. Now let's go into the Dog price. Kind of the same thing, where we're seeing right now, Dog price is below the 20-day, 50-day moving average. Eventually, that's going to break out because we've been in this range ever since July of 2025. So because of that, eventually it's going to have to break out above the 20-day and 50-day moving average. But what confirms that is the MACD. With this yellow trend line heading to the upside, we see that the MACD shows the seller's market leaving into and heading into the buyer's market. And every single time that has happened, there has always been a confirmation for Dog Bitcoin to go up in price. So right now we're at this early stage of a Dog reversal. So all in all, I do expect a lot of volatility over the next coming week because we do have some really bullish catalyst events that are coming up with the rate cuts, quantitative tightening just ending around the corner, which is December 1st. Who knows what's going to happen this week, but I will say if we just look at the month of December, which is just right around the corner, things could pump really fast. So if Bitcoin pumps really hard, imagine what's going to happen to Dog Bitcoin. It's going to pump much harder. So I'd rather put my Satoshis rather than in Bitcoin. I'd rather put it into Dog. And then maybe when things start to pump, you can always rotate those funds out of Dog back into Bitcoin. And then you can buy back into Dog when Dog takes another dip. So this is the maximum amount of value that you can use for your Satoshis. So let me know your thoughts down below, your predictions and your thoughts around the dog dominance charts, the dog price, the MACD, and also the trend lines heading upwards into the buyer's market. I want to hear all these thoughts and I cannot wait to read them. So smash up that like button, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to join us on X to receive all of our alpha calls and updates regarding Dog on the Moon. Till then, see you guys girls next time.